Welcome back to Ecocentric Homestead. We had a fairly good frost. The temperature reached minus 1.1 Celsius, that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It wasn't forecast, not even a risk of frost. The forecast was for 2 degrees Celsius. Since temperatures have dropped to normal, we could have a frost any night, so I harvested the fruit left on all the vine crops, starting with the tomatoes. This is the 42 days that was growing on this side. I'll put these green ones in a box for a little bit and see if they ripen up. A lot of them should. This is the latta. I'm going to take these little tiny ones. They talk about fried green tomatoes. I don't know, I'll be able to do something with them, I guess. Little tiny tomatoes like that. Here we have our second baby Pam pumpkin. This is the silver fir tree. We get some nice sized ones from that. Centennial Rocket, it faded earlier, but all except one tomato had ripened, so I just put that one tomato in the bucket there just now. Here, of course, you're looking down on furthest north. It's a little cherry tomato. Now here's something you haven't seen a lot of. This is the Beaver Lodge slicer. I have gotten the quite a few big ones off this, but it's one of those things where you pick them like one or two at a time, so I wasn't recording it. But as you can see, really nice big tomatoes. Take one tomato, you can make 2 sandwiches out of it. There's a cucumber. Oh, he's gone soft up here, but he still seems to be firm. See, this end is soft, but it's firm here. So that's a national pickling. They're a sweet cucumber. Some that are not fully developed yet. Here's Stupicea. There's a arm from Beaver Lodge slicer that goes over under here. So this one is from beaver lodge slicer. These seeds are still really green. That's Stupicea. Most of the tomatoes I got from Stupicea was about this size. Now this is an obvious one. You can see how the two tomatoes are fused together. I've gotten up to 4 tomatoes fused together. What's this one down here? Here's one, it looks like it's 2, but they're really fused. I got quite a few fused tomatoes off of my plants, but I can't say it's all the one type because that I never paid a lot of attention to. Bumblebees are still out servicing the sunflowers. That's a fused tomato from Beaver Lodge Slicer. Down in here is the Tiny Tim. Those little tiny ones, I think I'll leave them there and see if they'll grow bigger, because Tiny Tim is a hardy plant, as we've said in the past, and they might still grow. Stupicea, I've left some of the little tiny ones on there, and that one's still alive as well, so that one still might grow. I wasn't going to, I was just going to pull up the plants and pick off the tomatoes, but I think you'll find this interesting. This is where the furthest north is in the what I call the sunny plot. So I'll pull up the plant, the second plant now, and show you what's left on them. So that's what's left, and there's quite a few that fell on the ground there. But that thing produced in abundance. So I'm going to pick those all off and pick up what's fell on the ground and put in the bucket there now. Great harvest. Of course, remember, I have that one small pumpkin in there. The cucumber's in there, but that's not taking up enough room to be worth talking about. To go and get the squash, the best thing is to take the wheelbarrow, because there's going to be a lot of weight. Vegetable marrow. Of course, I never heard of marrow until I was doing my research last winter. A marrow is a zucchini that's bred to be best when it's fully mature. As for zucchinis, you harvest them when they're not quite ripe. So when you test, a lot of times, and I think most times, people say you can't make a mark with your thumb, but of course that depends on how strong you are. At any rate, they will slightly change color. They're light when they're immature, but they will get a little lighter and the skin will be noticeably hard. I've got my hand pruners here to when you're taking storage squash, which is what this is, it's a winter squash, you need to leave somewhat of a handle on the squash, otherwise you can get the infection and rot can start in if you cut this all the way down. So I try to cut with these type, try to cut as close to the stalk as possible, but just leave just the stem and not a piece of the stalk. I have some here that are just started, and we were having warm weather up until last week, and the plants were putting out flowers up until then. This flower obviously got hit by the frost last night. This is a female flower here. And like I said, we could be having frost any night at all now. And you can see how it's not shiny on this side, but as I roll it around, this is where it got hit by the frost. Early on, I had a couple of these that went bad, and they were immature. They looked something like this, but they were bigger. And so I took them in and fried them up. Because when I read vegetable marrow, I was thinking that maybe it's taste like the marrow, bone marrow? And indeed it did. But as I was doing further research, that's not where the word marrow comes from. So now I don't know what these fully mature ones will be like. Now we're going to go down and get the pumpkins. It's been a couple of weeks ago now. There was a pumpkin right here beside the sea berry. And I came out to do my garden inspections as I usually do, and the plant was dead. That was before the last frost. And so I inspected, and the plant had gotten broken off right there. Now I don't think it was me that done it. I'm thinking that maybe a moose came by and stepped on the plant. But at any rate, it was broken, so I took the pumpkin inside, and that one's in the house already. Over here, I'm still puzzled. You see, I have this green pumpkin. It's not supposed to be that way. But at any rate, I will take it, and we'll call it the Atlantic Giant, but it doesn't look like it. And I thought I used my seed from that, and I don't see how that seed could be crossed. Over here is the regular pumpkin, and you can see a couple of spots there where the frost was. This one you can see even more where the frost was on it. Now pumpkins, they'll be all made into puree and bottled, but I put them back and I store them for a while. When I get to it, I get to it. So I'll have to put these back into the cold room and keep checking on them, and as soon as I notice any kind of deterioration, take it and process it. So there's the smaller one. That one grew that size, and he didn't grow any bigger. That was the first one that set. And then I have this bigger one in here. I have this one here. And now this one really, frost was right over the top of that, see? So I'll get these processed as soon as possible. But of course there's other things to be done. Now as for the butternut squash, there's some immature ones in among that. I don't know what I'll find. I'll just have to search among it and show you what I got when I find them. Well, that's how long my lapel mic lasts. I just broke my lapel mic. So you're going to get some wind noise now from the camera mic. That one and that one are the only two there. I found when you're growing these, and this goes for zucchini, squash, pumpkin, marrow, if they're growing among the other vegetation like that, they'll send up leaves and grow, but the flowers, if they put out any, they won't be pollinated. Cucumbers, the same thing. So if you're growing them in a bed like this to save space, you would have to put up a trellis to let the vines go up and be above this other stuff. And now we are looking on the zucchini. This is Rhonda Nice here. Okay, looks like he hasn't put out any. There's a couple right here. The leaf in my way so I can get at the stem. Now this is the one that I was letting go to ripen. Now I don't know if this is normal. You see the plant has died. Maybe it's dead because now that zucchini is ripe. I do not know. Little tiny ones like that I'm leaving there. Now, this cucumber, the vine is dead anyway. This is bush crop, and I was leaving this here to go to ripen. This is as far as it turned color. So we will find out if that actually has viable seed in it or not. And that's it for round and ice. I harvested this white scallop squash. Now this is the one I had left there. I was thinking I'd let it grow as long as I could and see if I can get viable seed from it. And then I have this one and this one. But over underneath all the foliage, I found this. And you see how it's swollen out? Look at the difference between the two. So this one is further along and is more likely to have viable seed in it than this one. There is the full squash harvest. I'm happy. I don't know what up with the Dill's Atlantic Giant, but oh well. And the zucchini. Now, I'm going to just put up this video about harvesting the squash. And I'll put a blanket over this for tonight. And tomorrow I will do a separation out of what I have gotten with the cucumbers, tomatoes and squash over the summer. And I don't know if that'll be one video or multiple. But I hope you enjoyed watching this. And hope you'll come back for the next one. See you in the next episode.